Stop. Have you ever noticed that some symbols seem to arrive in your life exactly when your soul is moving through a threshold? The swallow is one of those sacred messengers. This is not just a bird. In spiritual symbolism, the swallow has long been seen as a sign of return, renewal, divine timing, and the soul's ability to find its way home. Across cultures, mystic traditions, folklore, and esoteric teachings, the swallow appears as a symbol of hope after darkness, of movement after stillness, and of the deep knowing that life moves in cycles. The swallow is one of the first birds associated with the arrival of spring. Spiritually, this makes it a messenger of rebirth. When the swallow appears, it often reflects a season in life where something long frozen within the soul is beginning to thaw. The winter of grief, fear, stagnation, or confusion begins to loosen its hold, and a new inner season starts to emerge. This is why the swallow is so deeply linked with resurrection, energy, transformation, and new beginnings. It reminds us that no darkness is permanent. Even after the longest spiritual winter, the soul knows how to bloom again. Esoterically, the swallow is a symbol of the returning soul. One of the most sacred qualities of this bird is that it migrates vast distances, and yet returns to the same place, often to the same nest. In mystical teachings, this mirrors the soul's journey through life itself. We may wander through pain, through lessons, through karmic cycles, through relationships that teach us who we are, but eventually the soul is always called back to its center. The swallow teaches that no matter how far you have traveled from yourself, you can always return home. This is where the symbol becomes deeply powerful for empaths and seekers. Sometimes we lose ourselves in the energies of others, in the noise of the world, in old wounds, in responsibilities, in survival. The swallow carries the message: return to your own spirit, return to the truth beneath the noise, return to your intuition, return to the home within. In many ancient traditions, the swallow was also seen as a symbol of safe passage. Sailors believed that seeing a swallow meant land was near and that they would return safely home from the sea. Spiritually, this is incredibly profound. The sea has always represented the unconscious mind, emotion, mystery, and the depths of the psyche. So when the swallow appears in your life, it may be a sign that you are nearing clarity after emotional turbulence. You are approaching land after an inner storm. The healing is closer than it feels. From an esoteric perspective, birds represent thought, spirit, and higher consciousness because they move between earth and sky. The swallow, with its swift and graceful flight, carries a very unique vibration. Unlike birds that soar slowly, the swallow moves with speed, precision, and instinct. This can symbolize rapid spiritual awakening, quick energetic shifts, and divine messages arriving suddenly. Sometimes healing doesn't come slowly. Sometimes it comes as one moment of truth that changes everything. The forked tail of the swallow also carries symbolic meaning. In sacred symbolism, the split tail can represent polarity, two paths, two worlds, spirit and matter, inner and outer reality. Yet the bird moves as one. This is deeply aligned with Hermetic principles, especially the principle of polarity, the understanding that seeming opposites are two ends of the same truth. The swallow becomes a living symbol of integration, light and shadow, pain and wisdom, loss and rebirth. The soul learns to hold both. Another layer of meaning connected to the swallow is loyalty and devotion. Because swallows return to the same nesting places year after year, many traditions associate them with fidelity, faithfulness, and enduring love. But in a spiritual sense, I see this as loyalty to one's soul path. The swallow asks, have you remained loyal to what your spirit came here to become? Or have you abandoned yourself to fit into spaces that no longer reflect your truth? This bird can arrive as a sacred reminder to stay devoted to your becoming. There is also a mystical link between the swallow and divine timing. These birds follow the rhythm of the seasons with remarkable precision. They know when to leave, when to return, when to build, when to rest. Spiritually, this teaches trust in timing. Not everything blooms when the mind wants it to. Some things bloom when the soul is ready. The swallow teaches rhythm, cycles, and surrender to natural timing. For anyone moving through heartbreak, awakening, grief, or deep transformation, The swallow can be a sign that life is reorganizing itself around a new truth. In esoteric teachings, symbols are often less about prediction and more about reflection. So if the swallow keeps appearing to you in dreams, in waking life, in repeated images, ask yourself, what part of me is being called home? What season of my soul is changing right now? Sometimes the swallow is not a sign of something external happening. Sometimes it is the soul's whisper that an inner migration is taking place. Maybe you are leaving an old identity. Maybe you are returning to your power. Maybe you are rebuilding the nest of your life. Maybe you are finally remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. That is the medicine of the swallow. And this is why, spiritually, I see the swallow as one of the most beautiful symbols of soul return, hope, divine timing, and safe arrival. So if this message found you today, perhaps it is not by accident. Perhaps your soul is already in motion. Perhaps you are closer to your next beginning than you realize. If the swallow has been appearing in your life, in dreams, symbols, or synchronicities, I would love to know what season of transformation you are moving through right now. Comment the word return below if this message resonated with your spirit, and tell me what part of yourself you feel called to come back home to. Follow for more mystical teachings, soul symbolism, and esoteric wisdom for empaths and seekers. And if you are moving through a deep awakening and need guidance, my one-to-one soul sessions are available through the link in my bio.